Another episode of Musashi R&D Sessions. We're going to have to R&D and M and H. Very special podcast today. We are welcoming the rest of the crew that we've kept off camera because they are way too ugly. But
got a head for radio.
Yeah, actually, you two are probably better looking than us too. So we've got you on. How's it feel to be on camera today, Hal, for the first time ever?
My microphone was not working for the first 5.5 minutes. I am sorry.
Close up of you.
Yeah, I'll back up and then you won't be able to hear me.
Say hi to everyone. And Marc, who is part of our product innovation team, works alongside Dhiren, has to listen to all these Musashi quotes all day. Welcome.
Thank you.
Today's episode, follow-up from our last episode, which was around which sport had the best athletes, and that got us thinking.
Who is the best athlete?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the best athlete of all time?
Of all time? Current times?
Modern era? Past era?
Interesting.
I know.
But
This is so... debated worldwide.
Oh,
But I think the person that I'm coming with today is definitely the world's best athlete of all time.
But wait, a follow-on from last week, right? You said,
What did I say?
we agreed, maybe, that MMA tends to have the best athletes at the moment.
Did we?
If you look
It's up there, right? But
yeah, I think we narrowed it down to three sports. It was MMA, basketball, and then let's just say football, which incorporates sort of AFL, rugby league, and American football.
I thought we said soccer.
Well, when you incorporate all the factors of the athletic attributes like strength and power and explosivity, I know they sort of...
True.
Well, you look at a goalkeeper, though. We just did a shoot with Matty Ryan on Tuesday, and what a phenomenal athlete he is. So, yeah. But we did narrow the sports down, and it'll be interesting to see if you guys have selected...
Yeah, I brought in a little bit of a wild card.
Did you?
Yeah, so
Start with a bang.
I thought I'd throw it in, see what you thought.
Should we kick into it?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get it.
Who have you got? Let's kick off with your wild card.
World's best climbing free soloer, Alex Honnold.
Oh.
So is he a rock climber?
He's a rock climber. He climbs walls 1 kilometer high without any ropes.
That's pretty insane. Rock climbers are phenomenal. Just to watch them, the grip strength and the endurance they have, it's out of this world. They can't squat to save their lives, but
Have you watched Free Solo? It's a crazy documentary. Absolutely crazy.
Is that the one where he loses an arm?
No.
What's that one?
That's 127 hours.
Oh, and he wasn't a rock climber, was he?
Is that a documentary?
I don't know.
He just gets stuck in a rock on that one. This guy actually climbs the rock.
Oh, he climbs it,
Yeah.
so he doesn't have to gnaw his own arm off or anything like
I don't
that.
think so.
So what's your argument for this guy?
So my argument is that there's a sense of risk in this sport, free soloing. So if you were to play basketball knowing that you could potentially get injured for the rest of your life and never be able to compete in that sport again, would you continue to play basketball?
I would argue it's hard to get to that point of injury where you could never play ever again. I know where you're going.
Yeah.
You fall off a bloody cliff, you're dead.
It's all over.
There's dire consequences.
So, yeah.
But, okay, let's counter that by saying...
What about final 2 minutes of Game 6 of the 2013
But I think...
Derek Rose.
Yeah, Derek Rose bust his knee.
Almost
Career over.
Mark's argument's good. I think because you sort of weren't in the last podcast, though, we were sort of looking at all the attributes that make up the most premier athlete.
Yeah.
So it's a mix of endurance, strength, explosiveness, agility, the mind,
Skills.
Yeah. So I think when you all take all of those and combine it into the ultimate athlete, I'm not saying no.
I think there's still some competition there for climbing because it does have that mental attribute to it. As soon as you're a meter off the ground, suddenly your skills that are so well in the gym where you got a soft mat to fall on, they all fall apart, and your mind just starts to play those games on you, and you think, okay, I've climbed this 1 million times in the gym, but now that I'm outside in the real world, it's suddenly like a whole different...
I like that rationale, but I challenge that straight away.
Yeah, maybe he has the biggest balls, right? Of any athlete, we can... Yeah.
We can barely hear you. Turn your mic up, Hal, if you can.
Is that better?
No.
Not really.
Anyway, well, that was definitely left field.
Yeah,
I can see...
but how much does he bench? That's what I want.
How fast can he run?
Yeah.
But you've brought a different element of risk that we didn't really tick off in the last podcast.
Well,
I think risk is
maybe
huge.
we talked about it with Formula One drivers.
We did with Formula One, a little bit with MMA, more dire consequences, but I mean, you make one mistake, you're dead. And I think Formula One is similar to that as well.
I don't agree. Personally, I don't think that risk is a factor when it comes to the best athlete.
Why?
Okay, my argument is I think the best athlete is someone who dominates their own league, but could also do so in a different code, in an entirely different scale.
Like has the potential for a crossover. So they're an athlete across multiple different sort of...
Yeah,
Well, I think that's actually a good point. An athlete competes, right? Competes to win. I mean, a rock climber, ultimately you're competing with yourself. Not that.
I see it's a solo sport.
It's the point is competition. You could say that just about any Russian athlete is in the same circumstance because their coach might have a gun to the back of their head. The risk exists. I don't think it changes who they are as an athlete, which will segue that into my argument. And I think, to my point before, I think it's...
We all know who you're going to say.
Yeah, we already know and we all disagree.
James, let's go. He built different.
LeBron James.
I think if you put who he is in his prime against, and I'm not going to bring up the whole Jordan versus LeBron argument because I know
you need to.
Old
He can't be the best athlete of all time when he's not even the best athlete in his own sport.
He is, but we're not going to get into that argument here. One point on that, I think that...
So if you put him, right, okay, here's my argument. You put him in the worst team in the comp, and it's just him with a bunch of shitty players.
He did. He took 2 security guards and 2 other random blokes to the finals in his rookie season.
Yeah,
Did
but
you
what
see-
about now?
I'm not talking about now. What about his prime? We're talking about
How
his
long
prime.
has he been playing for?
But is
19th
longevity
season.
a consideration?
I think longevity is a
Well,
huge consideration.
That's in his favour, but regardless of longevity, you look at him in his prime,
Because yeah.
and I think he was the best player of all time. He was
Yeah.
just playing the planet. And
what
his stats,
about Wilt Chamberlain? They literally changed the rules of basketball for him.
Yeah, they changed the rules of basketball all the time during that era. The basketball had only just been created.
Yeah.
I think that's an irrelevant argument.
And
I would also argue that I think just as the way the human race develops over time, I think so does sports, so do athletes. And that's why I think that no matter who our premier athlete is, they have to be in one of the more recent generations.
Right. So is he the most dominant man in basketball of all time?
At a given point in time, he was, yes. For about
any
decade
given-
straight.
Yeah. Well, there's been quite a few
Well-
of those guys. And if you look at
there's-
success, I look at success by accomplishments, right?
That's fair.
Yeah.
He's not the most accomplished athlete, even in his own sport.
But he's accomplished, right? He's
He's
got a handful of rings.
His name wouldn't be brought up if we didn't
Yeah.
think he was the greatest, one of the
Exactly.
greatest, right? So he's definitely in the debate. But that's what we're having, a debate.
Yeah.
100%. Well, here's my argument. That is, I'm not arguing why he's the best NBA player of all time because I think he is, and we go into that another time. But I think if you put him in his prime in almost any other sport and gave him, the same opportunity, I reckon he could dominate in just about any sport he tried.
I think that's a good argument. And it's probably the advantage he has over like a rock climber, for example. I think LeBron, you choose any sport at a young age, he's probably going to excel at it just because of his athleticism and
But-
size
And his mindset
But-
and his intellect.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan did. He left the NBA to play baseball, and he wasn't too bad.
He
He
played
played-
in the second division.
Yeah.
He didn't even play.
He was a 31-year-old rookie. Like, come on.
Yeah, but you know the story there.
Yeah.
The team he went and played for, the owner also owned the basketball
I guess
team.
so.
So it's like
he's got like a 1.3 handicap in golf.
But to do what? Yeah,
Like MJ does everything.
Fuck
You know what
you
I'm
and
saying?
fuck golf.
no, but it's a really good argument to have because he has gone and played baseball. Like, I mean, you don't just get to walk on a team unless you do have skill.
Yeah.
He is amazing at golf. Like people like to have that handicap in golf. You're pretty much a pro.
Yeah.
LeBron James was the number 1 ranked
What has he done? He's just basketball.
American football player in his high school.
Was he really?
He would have been the next Tom Brady if he'd chosen a different.
Tom
In
Brady.
his high school. I
wasn't
benched
a
the most in my high school.
What high school did you go to, mate?
You're still in.
No doubt. He would have been a dominant football player as well. He wouldn't. There's no way. I'm surprised actually. Tom Brady. I didn't even consider him. Far out.
Oh, well,
We should probably talk about him. Like he's probably no one's vote here today. But
Yeah.
you obviously have your own votes, but surely there's a top of each sport. There's Ronaldo, Messi, Tom Brady, and Tiger Woods. Who's your pick?
I'm gonna go something. I'm probably gonna get slammed because it's none of the sports we've discussed. Michael Phelps. Let me paint why.
The greatest Olympian of all time.
5 Olympics he's been to over the course of 20 years, every 4 years. He's won more gold medals than anyone on the planet. 23 gold medals. No one's even come close. Dominated his sport over a variety of different sort of swim lengths. I don't know. It's hard to find someone more accomplished over a longer period of time.
That's fair.
True.
There's no one even else. I don't think anyone else has even won more than 10 Olympic gold medals. And he's
Simone Biles won quite a bit. You know, the gymnast.
Yeah.
You've ticked one of 2 boxes for me. One is objectively dominates in their own sport. Tick. But is there potential for crossover for other sports?
How much does he bench?
He's an amazing swimmer. Is he the best athlete?
He's an imposing guy. He's 6'4". He's a giant. He's athletic. Who's to say he couldn't have been great at basketball?
Do you know if he has any hand-eye skill? Can he kick?
He can see a line in the middle of the pool.
But also, he's won medals in multiple disciplines of swimming, right?
Yes.
Not just freestyle,
You
breaststroke, butterfly,
could argue they're different.
medley.
Swimmers look
Relay.
at them as different sports. Freestyle is very different to backstroke. We just look at it as, it's all swimming.
Okay, I got a
Rub-a-dub-dub.
point to counter that.
Yep.
Who's the greater Olympian? Usain Bolt or Michael Phelps? The fastest man to have ever walked the face of the earth. Who, sprinters have a shorter shelf life.
Yep.
And there's only one blue ribbon gold medal event, 1 or 2 every year. So obviously you can't win as many, not as many events in sprinting as.
Well, you
as
just
swimming.
answered it there. Sprinters have a shorter shelf life.
There you go.
And we've talked about longevity.
Yeah, but
How many what's the gold medal difference between Michael Phelps?
but there's a lot of events in swimming compared to 100.
Usain Bolt's out. Have you seen him play soccer? It was terrible.
Okay.
He actually went and played for the Central Coast Mariners.
Yeah.
Which is
awesome.
crazy.
Okay, fair point.
I'd see him walking around Terrigal with a...
At least he tried. Did Michael Phelps ever? He never picked up an AFL.
I think when you're that... I don't think he didn't... Usain Bolt didn't need to either.
Well, how
but
did
this
he
is the
perform?
argument we're going to have is
What's
but
the
can they
criteria?
cross over into another sport? And I think that is actually important when you look at an ultimate athlete.
It's difficult having this argument when we haven't even decided on the criteria.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Okay, so my athlete,
Yes.
by every criteria you look at, right? Longevity, skills, speed, power, jumping.
Is it you?
I mean, those are some of my most favorable attributes. Right? Okay, imagine, right? The last few years in the Premier League.
There we
if
go.
you if you
I'm
the
out.
Golden Boot winner,
Soccer.
Right?
See you guys tomorrow.
the Golden Boot winner scored 22 or 23 goals, right? That means the highest goal scorer scored about 22 or 23. So if you score 20 goals a season every year from, the age of 18 to the age of 38, 20 years, you'll have 400 goals, right? Cristiano Ronaldo has 817 goals. He's the greatest athlete of all time. I don't even think there's he's one of a kind.
You
He'll
look
never
at
be replicated.
Longevity, sports participation. I'd say soccer is one of the most highly participated sports in the world. So there's a bigger pool of athletes to compete against. And what he's been able to do against other top of the food chain soccer players or football players, and be a huge standout. It's not even like, he's a little bit better than them all. Unbelievable.
And he's done it in multiple teams, right? He's done it in the Spanish league. He's done it in the English league. He's done it with the Portugal national team and won the Euros. Like, they've never won it before, If he wins a World Cup this year, that'll just be the craziest thing of all time.
One of the highest paid athletes of all time too. So is
And
that like a direct
You want another
reflection?
stat? The most Instagram followers of anyone on the planet.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Out of all the athletes?
Out of every human on Instagram.
Yeah, and look, Ronaldo is one of those athletes. When other athletes meet him, like other high level athletes meet him, they're almost in awe of him. So it's interesting to see how high level athletes act around other high level athletes. Yeah, and they're always like, he's like the Messiah.
Yeah.
It's
I
pretty
remember
cool to see.
seeing like Conor McGregor and Khabib when they met like Ronaldo. It was like an event for them. Like they were pumped to meet such a high level athlete. I reckon that's a good argument.
Yeah. I mean, there's also a debate like who's better, Messi or Ronaldo. You could definitely say Ronaldo's the better athlete. Maybe Messi is more skillful in some areas, but
Yeah, but when and look at the bloody body on him.
yeah, exactly.
Not that I look at men's bodies much. don't know, 30% of my time I do. But no,
but you know what?
but he's shredded, and he takes everything seriously: training, nutrition, his skill development, his athletic development. I think, and mental.
Exactly.
Like,
and he comes from nothing as well in Portugal. And what's another good example? Rooney, who's England's top goal scorer, Man United's top goal scorer. He's younger than Ronaldo, right? They started at the same time. Rooney was like, meant to be the greatest player, when he was a teenager. Everybody was hyping him up. Ronaldo surpassed him, and he'll never be caught. Nobody will ever score goals like he scored.
Tough to counter. I've got no counters. What about you guys? All I would say is sort of strength, size, crossover into sort of high impact style or medium impact style sports. But otherwise, it's hard to disagree.
I don't see a lot of strength there.
Have you seen how high he can jump?
I have.
Oh, have you? Yeah, there's that
it's
leaping.
Insane. Yeah.
There's that leaping header.
Exactly.
And it's a meme. It's a meme. It's like they show the height of his vertical leap. Mate, he put all these basketballs to shame, those big, slow sort of basketballs that can barely get off the ground.
Oh, I'm sorry Kendrick Perkins can't get off the ground. He's a shit.
Kendrick Perkins.
Do we have any wild card?
But I don't know how much he benches. That's the only...
That's what it comes back to for Dhiren. How much they bench, how much they squat.
I mean, some measures.
I reckon Ronaldo's winning so far.
I'm still sticking with LeBron James.
The stats win.
Or you're going to still stick with LeBron, even though he's not even the most dominant
LeBron
guy in his own sport.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe there's an argument for Michael Jordan as well.
LeBron's like number 3 or 3 to 5 in his own sport of all time. He's not even close. Look at him. See, the younger generation, they forget what the impact that Jordan had on the game.
Yeah, he had to be there.
Impact was not one of our criteria.
Well, probably should have been.
Yeah.
Changed the game.
I'm not arguing that.
Look, Hal's taking it personally because we didn't pick a
Oh,
basketball.
yeah,
Poor
exactly.
Hal.
Hey,
I knew we'd all come in with sports that we like the most.
At least
A little bit biased.
Yeah, a little bit.
Of course. At least my pick was the same as I picked basketball in the last episode. And I picked a basketball player in this episode.
Yeah, you were consistent, Hal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also said basketball and soccer.
I was different. I didn't want to come with an MMA athlete. I don't think the sport's been around it's been around forever, I guess.
Why don't we just agree on Whitaker? Best
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue.
Best bloke of all time.
Oh, if you look at the best within that sport, I don't know. It's hard to go past like Khabib.
What?
No,
John Jones?
No, I agree.
What?
Yeah, just dominance and finishes everyone, and no one even looks like they come close.
I look back at John Jones' fight versus Teixeira, and
he destroyed
I just saw
him.
that last week, and man, it was insane. Prime Jones.
Yeah, and yeah, it's too many red flags.
I
John,
mean,
I agree.
we're
with
not
you.
judging them by the character.
I would say like he's probably the greatest fighter of all time, but athlete, I don't know. I'd love to kick
both
those
of his brothers.
skinny little calves he's got.
No,
both of his brothers.
Both his brothers in the NFL. He's
If you look at like
high school
families,
wrestling. I mean,
best
college
sporting,
wrestling pedigree. Like,
best sporting families. The
Yeah.
Jones family would have to be up there.
Antetokounmpo family.
Yeah, the Trebojevic.
for sure. Yeah.
Is there a Maimatu Musashi quote about the best athlete?
What about female? Quick,
Oh,
throw it out there. Best female athlete of all time. I don't want to leave females out of the equation.
Serena Williams? Sure.
Serena Williams for me as well.
Yeah, I had Serena Williams too.
I'll go Simone Biles.
There you go.
I mean,
Done.
like, gymnastics is a crazy sport.
Short life.
Yeah.
16 by the time you get to like early 20s, you're out. Like you're old.
True.
But she's phenomenal.
Yeah. All right. I do have a quote, and it's applicable to the greatest athletes of all time.
Here we go.
All men are the same, except for their belief in their own selves, regardless of what others may think of them.
Deep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
We all know Miyamoto Musashi was the greatest athlete of all time. When you're fighting to the death with swords, like,
It's true.
come on.
We like catching up with Matty Ryan. For those of you who don't know, Matty Ryan's Socceroos goalkeeper and a Musashi athlete. We caught up with him on Tuesday. He was saying mindset is everything.
Yep.
Like you can have humble beginnings with no athletic ability, but if you've got the drive, the mindset, you can go a long way in any sport.
Strength can only take you so far. Like you notice at the very top of the level, everyone's completely ripped and shredded, and they can bench. I don't know.
Yeah.
how much?
I mean, that's a good argument for rock climbing. The mindset needed is.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that separates the elite
Massively.
from the elite. Is the mindset, and that's why Jordan will always be better than LeBron.
Yeah. LeBron's protected by the refs. So.
Well, I think we solved this debate. The winner is Ronaldo.
Oh, CR7.
Yeah, well,
let's agree.
and for females, it's Serena Williams.
That I can agree with.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're ever going to agree.
No.
We didn't agree in the last one.
On anything.
I feel bad for Mark, though.
No, I'm still pretty strong on Alex Honnold. I agree with your stats, but what you said just at the end, you said mindset is what separates all the best athletes. And I think
best athletes. He's not even top 10.
I know, but for all athletes, I think Alex Honnold has the best mindset. So on that one stat, I think he excels, but on the rest, yes.
But what is the best mindset? Is he crazy or is he driven? It's different.
I think it's probably a mix of both there.
If it's crazy, then the best athlete is curious.
I think you have to have a little bit of crazy in you to be the best athlete in the planet and to be that driven.
Yeah, for
Dennis
sure.
Rodman, Patrick Beverley.
Dennis Rodman, that's a different type of crazy. That's like I go and hang out with Kim Jong-un crazy. That's
funny crazy.
yeah, he's funny crazy. All right, well, we've solved it. Let us know who you all think is the greatest athlete of all time or the greatest sport of all time. And until next time, nice to have you guys joining
Nice
us.
to have the new additions, Mark and Hal.
We'll see how long we stick around.
Yeah, this might be it. No, it's been good.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Musashi out.
Musashi out.